Your leg gave out 3 miles back. You've been walking on it anyway, because stopping isn't an option out here. Except now you physically cannot make your legs work anymore. Ahead of you, the only people who have ever kept you alive are getting smaller. Nobody looked back the last time you called out. The sun is already dropping, and somewhere behind you, in the direction the group just came from, something has been tracking your smell for the last 2 hours. You are not being punished. Nobody hates you. This is just what happens when a group has to move faster than a body will let it. Today, if someone in your life became seriously sick or injured, an entire system exists to carry them for you. Ambulances, hospitals, wheelchairs, people whose entire job is making sure nobody gets left on the side of the road. For most of human history, that system was 3 or 4 other exhausted people, already carrying everything they owned, deciding in real time whether carrying you too would kill everyone. So here's the question this video actually has to answer. When someone in an ancient group couldn't keep moving, what actually happened to them? The honest answer is that it depended entirely on one brutal variable: how much time the group had. Anthropologist Hill Magdalena Hurtado spent years living among the Ach, a hunter-gatherer people in Paraguay, and documented something that should genuinely unsettle you. During forced flights from enemy raids, when a group had to move immediately or die, sick or badly injured members were sometimes left behind alive because carrying them meant everyone else got caught. This wasn't rare cruelty from one broken group. It was a documented, repeating pattern under one specific condition: no time. But here's where the story should stop you completely, because that is not the only pattern the evidence shows. It might not even be the main one. In 1957, in a cave in northern Iraq called Shanidar, archaeologists uncovered the skeleton of a Neanderthal man who lived roughly 45,000 years ago. He was blind in one eye. His right arm had been amputated or withered away above the elbow, useless decades before he died. His legs showed signs of a degenerative condition that would have made walking agony. And he did not die young. Paleoanthropologist Eric Trinkhaus, who spent years analyzing these remains, calculated that this man survived for years after these injuries, years he could not have hunted, could not have carried his own weight on a migration, could not have contributed calories to the group in any way anyone has ever measured. Which means someone carried him, someone fed him, someone slowed down for him again and again for years, when every single calculation about group survival should have said leave him. So which is true? Do they carry you or do they leave you? The uncomfortable answer is both were true in the same species, possibly in the same groups, depending entirely on the kind of threat pressing on them. When the danger was slow winter, injury, illness that gave you weeks or months, the evidence says ancient humans went to extraordinary lengths to keep their weakest members alive, because a group's whole survival strategy depended on total group size and total accumulated knowledge, and losing anyone was expensive in ways that outlasted any single bad season. But when the danger was immediate, a raid, a flash flood, a predator closing the distance right now, the same species made the opposite calculation in minutes. Because a group of 12 that loses one person to save 11 beats a group of 12 that loses all 12 trying to save everyone. This wasn't inconsistency. It was 2 different math problems that happened to involve the same terrible variable. And here's the detail that should really sit with you. The people making that decision knew exactly what they were doing every single time. There was no ignorance here, no accident. A group deciding to carry an injured member for 3 more years was making a conscious bet that his knowledge, his relationships, his labor once healed were worth more than the extra calories his absence would have saved. A group deciding to leave someone during a raid was making an equally conscious bet that arithmetic, this time, only worked one way. Archaeologist evidence backs up just how costly the carry decision really was. Studies of hunter-gatherer group movement estimate that carrying one incapacitated adult could slow an entire group's travel speed by a significant margin and increase the caloric burden on every healthy adult in the group substantially for as long as the injury lasted. Every single day that decision was renewed. Nobody carried anyone by accident. They chose it again every morning. So picture that moment on the sand one more time, the one from the beginning of this video. The group getting smaller in the distance, the sun dropping, something behind you that's been tracking you for 2 hours. Here is what that scene actually depended on, and it's the same thing it still depends on today. How much time was left? If the group had days, they would have carried you, slowed their whole migration down, absorbed the cost, because you were worth more to them alive over the following years than the calories you cost them today. If the group had minutes, the same people, the same love, the same history together would have made the other choice and lived with it. You still run this exact calculation. When you decide how much of your own life to spend caring for someone who can no longer contribute the way they once did, a parent, a partner, a friend, you are doing the ancient math, just with better tools. Hospitals instead of hand carrying. Insurance instead of shared calories. But the underlying question a hunter-gatherer band asked 45,000 years ago in a cave in northern Iraq is the same one your family will eventually ask in a hospital room. How much are we willing to carry, and for how long before the arithmetic changes? Somewhere in that cave, someone decided the answer was, as long as it takes. And somewhere on a stretch of sand, very much like the one on this video's own thumbnail, someone else, just as loving, just as human, decided the answer had to be, not this time.